Hello, this is one on a piecewise defined function, which we're given the rule for, and we're given the graph and asked to answer a bunch of questions about. And this is all important stuff, mostly just kind of like math vocab stuff. So determine the domain of the function. If it looks like the graph doesn't have like a hard stop here, if it looks like it stretches out forever, then it does stretch out forever. So that's kind of implied, and I guess how would you know that? So the domain is the x values, which appear to be just everything. So you can go over here and use the infinity symbol, or you can just type the word infinity. Look at that. So negative infinity up to infinity is WebAssign for everything. Determine the range of the function. Okay, so that's the y values. So it does look like it does have a hard stop at 16. And if you look at it, f of 0 is 16. So and it goes to negative infinity down. So it looks like the range is negative infinity up to 16. Now, this is kind of important because it actually does include 16. So f of 0 is 16. So a curvy parenthesis there would be wrong. We want a bracket, right? Because the bracket means that 16 is included in the range. Find the values of x for which f of x equals 0. Okay, so that's these two, and that is pretty important. These are called x-intercepts, and finding them is one of the most powerful ways we have of solving equations. So from what we can see, it looks like it's negative 16 and 4. And if you look up here, I mean, you could solve this equation, and yes, x would be 4. So negative 16 and 4, and I think we can just type those in as comma-separated lists like that. And I already said it, but those are called x-intercepts. Okay, so those are important. Those are maybe the most important thing on the graph. Find f of 0. Okay, so that's this. So that's called a y-intercept, and f of 0 appears to be 16 from what we could tell. And like you could also just look at the definition for the function f of 0. So when x is 0 is defined up here. So f of 0 is 0 plus 16, which is 16. What is that's called a y-intercept. Probably not as important as an x-intercept, but every function has one as long as f of 0 is defined. What is the value of x when x equals 1? Okay, at x equals 1, so we can do a couple things. We can look at it and say f of 1 looks like it's like 15, or we can look at the rule for the function and say 16 minus 1 squared is 15. So 15. What are the coordinates of the point? Well, this is just asking what are the coordinates of the point when x is 1. So the thing I want to point out here is that there's already parentheses. A lot of people think they're doing something wrong because they just put another set of parentheses, and it's totally not their fault. So just note in WebAssign when there's already parentheses there. Okay. What is the value of x equals negative 1? Okay, looks like it's also 15, but again, we don't really need to trust just the graph. You can just use the definition for the function. 16 minus negative 1 squared. Negative 1 squared is 1. 16 minus 1 is 15. So we're sure. And the coordinates of the point, again, this is just noticing that there are already parentheses there. This is a little confusingly worded, but the coordinates of the point on the graph of f at which x equals negative 8 can be labeled negative 8 comma f of negative 8 or negative 8 comma whatever it actually is. And what it actually is, it sure looks like 8, but we don't just have to trust our eyes. You can just look at this. When x is less than 0, it's defined as this line x plus 16. So negative 8 plus 16 is 8, right? We're just plugging negative 8 into the definition for it. So it is 8. And I'm aware that this takes forever, and there's not a lot else I can really do about it. But it's right. Trust me. Okay, thanks.